Hello, today is June 11th, Friday. It is your market update. And again, apologies for not making any videos. I actually was a little sad that I wasn't able to make any of this basically this week. I had a job interview, I had tons of work I had to do. The work that I was doing was actually for these people I'm interviewing with. So you can almost call it like a double interview. I was already doing the work, so obviously if you have samples of the person's work, it probably doesn't end at the interview. They'll probably just look at the work you're doing and be like, well, can he actually do the work or not? And again, it's basically the same job that I'm doing now. And since I'm already working for them, I should do pretty well, I think. But, anyways, I wanted to make sure I did good. So, I'm going to start out with the Bushiroad Global Online Store. And again, if you're not following up them, you really should because this stuff has been coming out the past few minutes, right? Like this is actually today, 8 minutes ago. So as you see, they've been pumping out sleeves and we get some mats for Vanguard. And I wasn't actually going to talk about Vanguard at all. I had no intentions ever of talking about it. Of about in the store because really I bought the trial decks but I didn't do anything more than that. What I really was going to talk about is this. Look at these awesome sleeves. So this D4 DJ one, totally getting deadline June 30th. But why I was talking about Vanguard is because of this. This is actually really important, and it goes back to the whole Weiss selling directly, well, Bushiroad selling Weiss Japanese products directly to customers. Because check this out, this is not a one time thing or a Weiss thing. For collectors and fans, get your hands on Japanese edition start decks of Cardfight Vanguard overdress. And if you think about it, here is Japanese trial decks. So they haven't shown any boosters. I don't think they've said anything about booster boxes in Japanese being sold, but they did say they will not be selling the English version of these. Here you go. Wait, where does it say that? Here. Only Japanese edition of start decks will be sold on the online store. The English edition will be unavailable. English edition can be found at your local card shops. So again, there was this thought that potentially they could sell English Weiss here in the store. I think again, this might be just a wild guess right now with very little evidence, but right now they're unwilling to sell the English edition, which should be a good sign that hey, by the way, we're not going to do that. Again, maybe what this is they really just they had some extra, or maybe they just think some people would want to collect the Japanese versions. I don't know, but there you go. So, Weiss Schwarz wise, anyways, look at this sleeve. I love it. I am definitely going to be buying this thing. I can't make it any bigger, but it's really nice. You get all the girls. It's very colorful. 16 bucks. Seems pretty good. The Roselia ones, I think they're okay. Um, I think they're alright. It's the same graphic on the playmat, on the sleeves. Again, the real winner here is this. And if they would have just put this on a playmat, there you go, right? Shove this thing. I would play with this on a playmat. And there we are. So nothing else really. Oh, actually, there is one other thing. Trial decks are gone, by the way. If you're looking for Hololive trial decks, gone. Pre-order date has passed. Pre-order is closed. I don't know if the date was hit or they just sold out of them. I wasn't keeping track of them all week. It's kind of neat, actually, that I was away from looking at prices and all this thing. It's tiring. So I was away from it for a bit of time, but yeah. So by the way, if you want the sleeves, the D4 DJ sleeves, which is pretty awesome, pre-order deadline is June 30th. They only have 100 from what I've tried. Again, they can always restock, but at the same time, they only have 100 and shipping August 2021. So there you go. Check it out. Okay, now we are on here to our favorite thing, right? Which is the double rare tracker. Again, I do this every week just to prove the point that prices get to a certain point. When should you buy them, and when do they actually go back up? So the neat part is TCGPlayer now has a sold listing. They, you could always see these prices if you had a seller's account. I was able to use my sisters and take a look and make sure like what actually sold and what didn't. But you can actually see here, some of this is this guy here is 30 bucks, 6.8. So that was 3 days ago. But you can actually see prices now, so that should ease back on the whole, oh my god, people are just pricing to infinity. Right? You actually got some sale prices here. So that is really nice about TCGPlayer. Sale prices can always be fake. People can always refund. But again, if you have more than one, that should be a pretty good indicator, or at least history of like what these things actually go for. And it is kind of neat looking at this. Now that I opened it, 529, 25, 27, 30. It looks like it was going on a up kind of trend. But then if you scroll up here, the lowest is 20 under 27. So trend broken. That's what that is. All right. So let's see. Let's take a look. Data live. Oh, I was trying to make grass. They aren't really good looking. So let me just shove this thing down there. Okay, Data Live. Again, not really much happening in the world of Data Live. Terrible Spirit Kurumi didn't go down all that much, which is great. I think it's finding its point where people are thinking this is going to be it. Again, there's going to be a reprint, so that's going to be short-lived. And again, my place that I buy from, they're thinking mid-June. They sold out this past week of their Data Live reprint. I know other places that I've been watching haven't sold anything. So again, I think the reprint, if you are going to buy it to hold long term, it's going to be a long term. If you're thinking short term, good luck. And you're probably better off not thinking that way, right? It's not, because again, limited player base. There's going to be people that already have the set that are going to buy it from TCGPlayer or wherever else when the prices drop, because people are going to open these things for play sets. People are going to open it looking for SPs, and they're going to be dumping it. Okay, so again, right now, if you need the cards now, not a bad time to buy it, but if you can wait, that's what you should really be doing. Okay, so again, nothing much has changed. Again, double rare average 724, which is actually pretty good. Well, when you take a look at the other sets that I'm going to be showing, pretty good price. I don't think this is too terrible. And again, most of that value comes from this terrible Spirit Kurumi. Right? And again, by the way, all those people that told me before that Dao wouldn't be meta, I don't know. I don't know where you had that thought. I mean, again, it's there was a lot of people that played Dal during Springfest, but at the same time, there was a reason a lot of people played Dal during Springfest, and it did pretty well, right? So we have Kaguya coming up. We'll see what that actually does. It's a pretty strong set versus Dal here, so we'll take a look, okay? But really, again, this is, I imagine when the reprint hits, when it actually hits the streets, we're gonna see this thing drop down into the sixes, probably fives. What does this happen? What does this look like when it hits 20? 6. I can't imagine it going like below 15. That would just be nuts. So 6. 6 is probably, and then you start nailing all these. What is the worst case that can happen here? Let's just cut them all by like 33%. I don't even know if I can do that math right now. Should say 5-5. 5-5, 5-5. This will be 4, 4. That'll be 2, 1 something. 1, 6, 6. And let's go with the cool 5. Yeah, I could see that happen. And let me see. Let me put Karumi back here to, let's say 20. 20 seems like a good number. So yeah, it might actually go beyond below 5. And again, it depends on the reprint and what people are actually going to do. But all possible, right? All possible. So that is it for Dow. Let's take a look at the sign cards. Sign cards. So again, plus side is we get the sales price now. We can see it. What did someone buy? Someone bought this March 29th for $500, but since then nobody bought it. Nobody wants it. This guy has it for $490. So again, I think this is really cool that they added it. Holy crap. Good Tori. I didn't actually look again. I didn't look at these SPs before. Oh wow, look, that's so nice. Yeah, so I remember seeing this in the 200 and it never sold for the 200s. It went for 175. 175 being the highest. It's pretty sweet. So there we are. Now you know. Knowing's half the battle. This is actually pretty cool. I didn't try this all this time. Latest sales, $299. And as you can see, there's not a lot of sales of the... Ooh. I gotta see this one. I have to see this one. Booster boxes. Let me just see booster boxes. See, I had a good time. It was 135s, and then as it gets closer to reprint, 68103.95. So yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. Reprints coming. So anyways, SPs. What do we got here in SP? How much did this Karumi go for? This Karumi. Oh wow, recently. Today, as in today, $240. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this price has been hanging out there forever. Yeah. Look, 239, 239, 240, 250. That seems like the right price. That's what people want to pay for it. So, hey, TCGPlayer, right? Hopefully people won't bash on you now, but it's pretty good. So, overall, when it comes to Data Live, I don't think anything's massively out of whack. I mean, you may say this SCC Karumi is out of whack. I mean, someone bought it for $1,200 on Facebook. People were buying it for a while there in the 2000s. So I think obviously this is too high. Thinking of the reprint coming, I expect full well that's going to drop pretty good. So we shall see what happens. But yeah, everything looks okay. And again, expectation this goes down, expectation this thing goes up, just because again, trial decks not being reprinted, you're never going to see them again. So this is the end of the line for trial decks. And as you can see, people have been buying them for $45. So I don't think it's, honestly, I don't think it's going to get any cheaper. I know there's people that actually have display boxes of them, the 6 box. But even then, the supply is finite. You're not going to get any more. The reprint didn't happen on there, so there we are. That's Data Live. So nothing really interesting. It's basically flatlining now. But again, when the reprint happens, it's gonna go like this, right? It's gonna do this thing. And Magia Record Mobile. What do we got? Magia Record. So I took these prices as of last night, and because I didn't know how it was gonna be today, since it was a pseudo 40th birthday at lunchtime that we had, so I didn't know how that was gonna turn out. And what I saw last night was Felicia made a reappearance, so she is back on the list. She was sold out for a while there, in this week, and I had sold out, but because it said sold out, it ruined like my numbers, so I added it back in at 1403 the week before, with a little disclaimer there. And then since it reappeared, I put the 1496 there. It went up in price, obviously, because it's gone now. It makes sense to me because, again, this Felicia is highly usable in the anime set, so it has a purpose. And now it's actually higher than Homura here. Homer was in the top position that we switched out for Felicia. And when it comes to Magia record, again, not much actually really happened. It went down over 3%. Not a big deal. The bigger drops were from these. And again, it has everything to do with people wanting to get rid of their cards. I think they're just tired of holding them, tired of staring at them, and they just want to get rid of them. So people are just undercutting. Again, we can confirm that by taking a look at the sales prices now or the sale history. So there we are. People, right? People haven't touched it really. I mean, there's a sale every week and a half to 2 weeks, it looks like. So not really much is happening. It's in a stable part of its life. I think at this point, you can basically say that this isn't really going to change much. Again, I've been saying this over and over again. If you're going to buy some of these cards, you should probably start thinking about it before they start disappearing for good, because at this point, no one's really opening boxes either. The sign cards, they are disappearing as well, as you can see. Out of stock, out of stock. One left. The one left is just because it's so expensive. I can show you real quick. So the sales prices on these I pointed this out to everybody that these were 55, 69, 120. There really is just this is a high price, but I think it's worth the card. 123 is something I would probably pay for it if I was looking to get it. And everything else, again, like I said, is pretty much straightforward. And this one is gone. Gone, yep. So again, these things are starting to disappear. If you want them, you might want to get them. If you're looking for a sale, try Facebook and try to get them to go 1% under what is showing on TCGPlayer. You might actually make out that way. And lastly, what do we got here? We got the booster boxes don't move. So when every couple days, I guess. So every couple days these things sell. But yeah, they're in the 64s. I really wonder how many of these are actually still out there in the world. Well, this guy got almost a whole case, so there's a decent amount of them. Again, this is something that I felt like only collectors or people that were looking to play the anime set would have bought. But even then, you could have just bought the singles. So I think it's more a collector's item. At this point, this is probably just a collector's item. It's not worth opening really, because nobody's looking for the cards. As you can see with the sales, no one's going out there and buying a ton of this anymore. Okay, so 623 again. I like to point out this double rare because of the amount that probably got opened, which wasn't high. That meant that there was not a lot of cards for sale, and there's a ton of cards here. There's 5 cards that are above the price of the average, so it's a pretty good set, as in if you were going to open it and could sell it. But again, I have this feeling that you're going to have a hard time selling these cards. And what we got? We got the anime set. So same deal. It's Felicia Supremacy. So Felicia here, she was number 2 these past couple weeks, and she is now above the Tsuruno. So I don't know what the deal is, but hey, I like Felicia, so there we are. And yeah, not really much. We know that this set was hurting. So again, if you take a look, 477 for double rares this week. The mobile set's 624. So definitely it proves again which one got opened more. And more than likely the difference was the strength of the set. Because again, this didn't have sign cards where this one did. So playability went higher than actual sign card, which just kind of proves my point again that collector community, or maybe it's just not a lot of people like Magia record, but the collector community is smaller than what people think when it comes to sign cards. Because again, if the sign card really mattered, right, then how come this is actually a lot higher double rare wise? Because again, the people collecting SPs would have sold the double rares. They're not sitting here playing this thing. Okay, so to me, it more proof that if you take away sign cards, yeah, it sucks, but the amount of collectors for SPs, like their literally whole goal is for SPs, it's not as high as you think. Okay, and again, you could hate what I just said there, but I have numbers that prove it, and we're definitely going to see that when Kaguya comes out. Again, you may hate that, but what I always find out, like when I work and all that, if I throw numbers in your face and I can prove it, then you really have not much anything else to say. I got numbers. What do you got? Just emotions and feelings, which, again, those are strong and they're valid, but at the same time, I got a cruel, hard black and white number right here. And that thing tells me that this thing was opened and the whole collector SP thing wasn't as big as you would think it is. Okay? So overall, this is kind of neat. Felicia went up 18%. There was a few that dropped off. And again, the ones that dropped off, like high percent wise, are at the bottom, which people weren't going to buy many of anyways, and they're just trying to get rid of it because they're tired of seeing the card. But overall, 2% drop. So not a bad time to have these things. But again, I wouldn't open it because the double rare value is terrible. Your resale value is terrible. At this point, again, the sealed boxes are definitely collector's items, or if you're looking for an SP, a serial number anyways, which again, I still haven't seen 1 through 4. Nothing new appeared on TCGPlayer, so nothing to report there. And SP wise, there's still a good amount of them left. These things will never sell because they're too high. There's no sign on them. That's what I mean. Like, I know these trial deck ones are rare, but there's no sign on it, right? There's no signature. So at $500, it's not worth 500. I hate to break it to anybody. Not worth 500. This one, I want to see this one. Why is that 200? Yeah. Okay. I don't think that would go for 200. Again, when these non-signed cards came out, I'm like, you really need to cut the percent of how much you're going to be selling these for. Because again, the only people looking for these are collectors. Like, I feel like collectors are just completionists, and at the same time, I wouldn't pay 200 for a non-signed card. No matter how much I love Madoka or Magia record, I would never pay 200 for a thing with like lettering on it and a bar. If you had a serial number, maybe, but outside of that, no. Like this Felicia. I can finally see what people are paying. Oh my god. Man, there are some. I thought I loved Felicia. There are. That's nuts. I can't believe someone paid $200 for this. When did this come out? 423. 423. Someone got some FOMO in them. That's what that is. That's what that number is. I don't know what this number is. Again, this is pretty nuts. I'm pretty sure if you went out there, you can get a number lower than 195. So that's actually pretty shocking to me that someone would pay $200 for this. And again, all the other ones look okay to me. 99, 95, 74. There's just so many of them. So many of them and nobody wants them. Look at this thing. 30. Someone sold it for $40. And again, that's what I thought they would be around. So, who knows? When we take a look at the boxes, has anybody bought any? Yeah. This looks like the other one, where it's like every couple days. Maybe it's the same guy that bought it before. So, And there are a lot left. There are a decent number of them left. And again, proof again that there's not people just going around like investing and buying millions of these things, like cleaning them all out, right? That doesn't happen. I think part of that, I'll save my thoughts on that later. But again, we're not under any sort of investors attacking us because, again, these would all be bought out at this point for $84. These would be bought out, when people talk about SPs are now going to shoot sky high. Can you tell me why, again, then, if you feel like SPs are going to shoot sky high, that, Iroha here and who else we got? Who else we got? Yachio, she's down here in the 70 land, right? That they're going to go 200, 300 because massive amount of investors were coming to get it. It's not happening. I know we all want to be part of this, but of that whole hype and all of that stuff, but it's not happening. Let's be real. And yeah, still $20. So no movement. Nothing's happening here. We got 610, 69. Yep. So $20. Magia record weaker on the sale side. But let's see. Oh, Bofuri. Bofuri. I like this. So I had this picture here because I wanted you to guess what actually happened. So before I show this, so we know from my last video that Bofuri was down 51% since it's released at this point. What do you think happened now? It went up. Shocker, right? Shocker. It went up. So you could see some movement in some of these, right? I know a bit of them were the lower ones, but I wonder, again, if the lower ones here went up because people are trying to make some fun decks or finishing out a collection. But I knew, again, when I talked about Bofuri, you can go back and take a look at my video about Bofuri, that, again, it was a strong anime, not a super strong playability for Weiss, but it is a fun deck though, so it's kind of weird, right? Strong anime, so that got it going for it. We can see that by the people wanting the SPs. Not strong playability wise. We know that you see it a bunch of tiers. It's not going to be like a killer deck. It struggles in the late game depending on what kind of deck you play. And lastly here, it is fun though. There are a ton of different, if you look, there are a bunch of different decks that people can play with, and I think it suits all different kinds of play styles. So I think what's really happening here at Bofuri is it's a good time. It was a good anime. The cards look really nice, and people are wanting to buy / collect it, and that's what's happening here. So last week, as we saw, double rares, that's pretty low. Like when you go through, when you take a look at all these double rares that I have, and this is why I keep track of them every week, I want to see again where this thing goes back up, because we know after it releases it goes down. But as you can see here, Maple, come on. As you see here, we got our little sloping up again. That's pretty nice. And I definitely would imagine that when it comes over here to Multicolored Sally, it's going to be a point where Multicolored Sally's not going to keep going down. It's definitely a great card. I don't think you need 4 of them, but you're going to need a few of them in your deck. And if you build multiple decks, then yeah, you I know people, so I stopped there for a second because for me personally, I wouldn't buy like 8 copies. If I had, how about 6? I wouldn't buy 6 copies so that I can have 3 in this deck and 3 in that deck. I wouldn't do that because to me, I feel like that's a waste of money when I could just move the cards over. I don't know. I know other people like doing it for the ease. The ease for like, let's just round that to 15. $45 just for the ease isn't really ease for me because I could take that 45 and do something else with it. But again, people buy more than 4 just because they can do that thing because you can make multiple decks with this. But as we see Bofuri finally going up, which actually happened sooner than I thought, or not that I thought, that is the trend, because as you see with all these right here, these things aren't going up. So obviously Bofuri is doing something differently. And like I said, what I knew from Bofuri was it was a playable fun deck where there was multiple different options and people just like the anime. So I think there's a combination of both actually happening. And one of those things that you should factor in when you actually try to figure out if you want to buy into these things, playing these things. So perfect example, Bofuri, thank you. It was pretty cool to see that actually happen this week. So it went from 51% down to 47. So again, nice to see this turn. I imagine at some point this is going to turn as well. And here we are. Bofuri. So again, I took the prices as of yesterday. I just love looking at these cards. They're amazing. They're still back there behind me since I think you can see the boxes. It's above that lamp. It's by that lamp thing. So yeah, I just I love it. That's all I can say. that's all. That's all I'm gonna say about it. It's pretty good. And sign cards again. What we have. Oh, I did not look. I didn't look at any. Like I said earlier, I didn't look at any of these sign cards. So let's see this history. 425. We got one of those. Let's take a look at this one. 600. Someone actually bought this for 600 on 521. Would I buy it for 700? No. No, because then I would be looking for trial deck boxes then. I would rather gamble. I would rather gamble than buy this thing for 700. I just rather do that. Sorry. You know, again, I can open the trial decks. I can sell trial decks as opened. I haven't ever done that before, but someone is, right? Like I pointed out last week, right? So, and again, there's nothing wrong. Wrong one. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, the person marked it. So again, I'm not saying anything bad about it. You marked it, great. It's open, $20. Seems decent. So again, like what I would do, I would be buying trial deck displays. And you can see here, people have been selling it for 150. What's that? 150 by 6 is 20 something. So seems okay. I don't know if I definitely wouldn't do. I'm thinking about this. And I'm like, I bought these trial deck displays for like 80 some dollars. So it's hard to swallow me if I had to do this, buy it for 160. But truthfully, I would rather buy a whole bunch of these things. Not at 160 though. I would rather buy a bunch of trial deck displays and gamble than pay for one of these at 700. Because again, you could probably recoup some of the cost by selling trial decks or selling some of the cards. I don't know, but this seems like a big waste of money. Like this too. I love this card. It was a fun episode. She got the rainbow color going on there in her hair. Yeah, and look, people have been buying this. So no matter what anybody says about like prices are crazy on TCGPlayer and stuff, this thing's 334, 380. So I mean, take it for what it is, right? What other one? I just want to see Kanade. Has anybody been buying Kanade? They have. We only got 2, so 175 and 150. So he is not forgotten. And what's another big one? This one. This one, for whatever reason, is 300. Yeah, yeah. I think it's way out of price. Again, you can't just use these. If this is the only one left, then he can price it. This person can price it for whatever they want. Me personally, would I buy for 324? No. Would I buy for 215? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I would. I would probably try for something else if they got to there. I'd rather. Which one I rather? I'd rather Frederica. Frederica at 129 is pretty good. Yeah, 120. Yeah. See, it's a pretty good price, I think. So, anyways, cool new feature again. SPs on this are like solid. Like you don't have anything below. Yeah, you don't have anything below 100 at all. And then when you take a look back here, we take a look at Magia record with no signs, just serial numbers. There's a few under 100. When you take a look at this one, there's a few under 100 because, again, people didn't want it. And then what do we got for this one? I mean, Origami's on that borderline. That's 100. Yoshino is 100 too. 100, 100. So, Bofuri was a awesome set, and hopefully you all got some. Hopefully you all look. Well, no, I was late on that video. Never mind. I was like, hopefully you all listened. Jeez, look at this maple. Dang, man, there's 700. This is not what I'm pointing out, the 700. I'm pointing out this. There's so many of them. There's so many of these maples. There's 9 of them. So maybe that'll mean. Wait, what are they pricing them at? 700, 706, 706. Ooh, 1,000. Ooh, 1,500. It's rich. Okay, so before we do Kaguya, let's wrap this thing up. So, Bofuri has some sign of life. I honestly believe that, and I've only done 4 sets. Once you start getting down into the 4 double rare price, I think that's when that's close to rock bottom. I can't imagine it going down to 3 or 2 would be an utter disaster. I don't even know what does 2 mean. People opened them. That would mean there's a ton of people that opened them and not a lot of people playing, or there was just way too many opened. But truly, it almost seems like 4 is a good number, right? 4. Yeah, because you could even see here on the anime set, like you could see like flatlining. It's not gonna do this where it's gonna drop into the 3s. I feel like 4 is somewhat of a magic number, a hidden magic number that nobody's been following for a while, but that's what it is. Bofuri card prices. What this was I made a video after that market update. Let's put it up there about like the expected value of Bofuri since I had a bunch of boxes left. I was trying to figure out if I should open this or not, and I did the calc again. We're still at $54. The week before is 52. I'm at 54 for expected value. Again, what I did here was I took the triple rares, I took the SRs, and factoring all that in, I ended up with $54. I even put in some promos. I didn't redo the rares. I'm not insane. I'm not gonna take my time to do that. But promos, what did they do? This one went up. I think this is the Kasumi promo. And that's it. So 54 when the box is 90. Again, what you're really praying for then, if I were to do that, is you're praying for a sign card, which we know is like 1 in 4, 1 in 5 boxes. So is it worth the gamble? Maybe. If you can guarantee yourself having like a signed card, because again, all these are above 100 and they actually do sell. So yeah, like if you feel lucky, worth it to open if you get a signed card and actually sell it. But for me personally, I would never sell a signed card, so it's not really worth it because I'm not converting it into money or anything like that. Okay, and then lastly, double rares. This is what that kind of looked like, but that was a hideous chart. Like I said, I tried that before and not really good. So I'm gonna just act like this didn't happen. I'll just push that down. Okay, so with our double rares, we are just tracking it over the weeks again. I feel like 4 is the lowest it's ever going to get. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm seeing so far. Highest double rare. Magia record mobile went up because Felicia made a return. This is slowing down, and this would be the Karumi here. Is slowing down, and again, that's unfortunately. It would be nice if it actually did slow down, but a reprint's coming. Magia record anime went up because Felicia came up and beat Saruno. Again, Homer over here got beat by Felicia. And Sally dropped a little bit. So again, it's just people trying to undercut each other is all that is. But again, for me, Bofuri, there's definitely, I can't say definitely, but I feel like there is a strong chance if the next season comes out and it's really good that we're going to see a season 2 set for Bofuri. I think it's sold really well. Um, and yeah, it's doing really well in the aftermarket. So again, a set 2 could only help this out since this is mid tier. I would imagine that a set 2 is going to do really well. Again, I say this, there is no season 2 yet that's come out, so don't be buying tons of this stuff thinking a set 2 is going to come out in the next like 6 months, because it's not. You're going to have to wait on that for a while, but again, it's a possibility. Let's see, we got Kaguya now. Kaguya, where are we with Kaguya? Kaguya was nuts. I saw a price yesterday. No joke, it was like, of these booster boxes, it was like $140. And obviously it didn't sell and the 140 is gone, but it was $140. I'm like when I was doing it yesterday, I'm like, that's insane. What did I miss? And apparently I missed nothing outside of people been two two sales of $100. It is selling out. So the place I buy from just sold out this week. I know the other places I watch are sold out. So this thing, if you haven't bought it yet, then I'm not sure what you're going to do. There are some on Facebook that have it, so just check it out there. And again, here's the video on my talk of Kaguya up there, if you want to know my thoughts on this. And go back. Trial decks pretty much all gone from what I've seen. Like, internal error. Try it one more time. Okay, great. Trial decks from what I've seen are pretty much all gone. And they've been selling for $29. That's what I mean. I'm like, I think people have massively missed the boat on this one. Just because, again, Kaguya is a really strong set. It's a really good anime. And the only downer is it doesn't have sign cards. So we'll see how that pans out. But if that happens the same way as Magia record anime, it's not going to matter. And proof is in the pudding. The pudding is the product's all gone from basically what I've seen. Again, there's some still out there, but let's just say it's almost virtually gone from the places that I've looked at. The places I watched, gone. So good luck out there. But that's all it is for Kaguya. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm really, really excited for Kaguya. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet. I have a whole case, as in like, am I gonna be opening them all, or is this gonna be widely opened that it's gonna pull a Magia record anime and I might as well just not open it at all and just buy a bunch of singles. So haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet, but if I'm gonna open my case or not. Lastly, we got the 7 Deadly Sins, and this is still findable. My store that I buy from, my place that I buy from, they still have it. They still have trial decks. They still have the supply set. And people have been buying them on TCGPlayer. So, well, not all that often, but right here, $78. It still amazes me that people can't find it and they go on TCGPlayer to buy it. Again, I use a TCGPlayer as a way to say this is the high point, and you could find some prices underneath it, but somebody bought it for $78.16. I mean, it's not just somebody, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. 6 people bought this in the 78s when you could have bought it in the 60s and maybe some places in the 50s. So it's always odd to me how that happens. And that is it. So 7 Deadly Sins, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. I'll put up my thoughts up there on it on the video that I made. So there you are. Holy crap, this is a long video. Anyways, what else can I... Oh, one last thing. I'm going to refresh this. Let's see what we got. they put anything else up. Global store, global store. 2 hours, 2 hours. I need to go back. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see. One last thing. Playmats. They got some more playmats up, so they are really pumping out the product. But no, cool. So I'm gonna go buy me some D4 DJ sleeves. I don't think I'm gonna buy them Roselia ones, just because again they're okay looking. But I wish this really would have been a playmat. That would have been nice. That would have been super nice. And if you haven't played that mobile app game, it's pretty good. I love it. All right, have a good one.